and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you about 5 different standalone books that I think are worth the hype that they have received both on BookTube and just in the general population in the world. So a lot of times books can get really overly hyped and then they can, we're all excited to read them. We've heard our favorite booktubers talk about them. They're hitting the New York Times bestsellers list. There's movies being made about them. And it's just like oversaturation, and we are really, really hyped up about these books. Then we have such high expectations that when we actually go to read the books, we end up being disappointed. So this is my list of books that I feel lived up to the hype. Now, these might be some controversial opinions because I know a couple of them, some people have said they weren't worth the hype, but for me, if you like the books that I've been recommending to you, you're gonna like these ones if you haven't read them. Now, I will say that sometimes I can be kind of snobby when it comes to overly hyped books, and I won't read them just because they're so hyped up and everyone is reading them that I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna read that. I'm probably not gonna like it. I have done that in the past, and I'm trying not to do that anymore because of books like this. If I had done that with these books, I would really be missing out because I really enjoyed these 5 reads that we're going to talk about today. So first, I only actually have one physical read on the list. The rest were all audiobooks. So I'm going to start off with the physical read that I had, and that is A.J. Finn's The Woman in the Window. So this one has, I think it's a Netflix series that's been based off of it. It was extremely hyped up a few years ago, and I think with good reason. So this one follows a woman that has agoraphobia. So she is trapped in her own home. She's had an extremely traumatic incident happen to her that has made her agoraphobic. So she will not leave her home for any reason. And she has these neighbors that move in across the street from her that she kind of spies on. I mean, imagine like if you're just trapped in your home all the time and you never leave, the one thing that you're going to be doing probably is spying on your neighbors. So of course this is something that she partakes in. And she thinks that she sees her neighbor get murdered by her husband. So she's not sure, like she's not 100% sure exactly what she sees, but she thinks that that is what is going on. And basically this story just kind of like weaves through different possibilities. It's going through her mental state as well, and you're not 100% sure like what exactly is happening. I absolutely love this book. There was a very big twist at the end that I did not see coming, and I gave this one a 5 out of 5 and highly recommend this one. So next is a book that I have read very recently that I absolutely adore, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. Oh my goodness, you guys. I gave this one a resounding 5 out of 5. It was just so good. So this one starts out in 1714, and it kind of goes through alternating timelines between then and now. But it focuses on our main character, Addie LaRue, who in a moment of sheer desperation basically makes a deal with the devil to live forever, as long as she wants, basically. When she's done and ready to be finished living, that's up to her, but she can live as long as she wants. Now, the devil has tricked her, as you can imagine. This isn't going to be all sunshine and rainbows, but the devil has tricked her, and basically she can live as long as she wants and she can do whatever she wants, but no one remembers her once she gets out of their sight. So imagine just living your whole life and people that you love, no one remembers you. So you can introduce yourself 8,000 times, and the second they get up and leave to go to the bathroom, they come back and they don't know who you are. So that's quite the obstacle to get over in your life, as you can imagine. And she has been living for 300 years with no one remembering her. Imagine how lonely that is. But one day she meets someone who does remember her. and we kind of go on our journey from there. It was just such a magical and beautiful story, you guys. I gave this a resounding 5 out of 5. This book came out, I believe, last year, and it's grown in huge popularity for good reason. It is 100% worth the hype, and you have to read it if you have not. All right, you guys, book number 3 is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I can honestly probably put every Taylor Jenkins Reid book on here, but Daisy Jones and the Six is one of the first ones that I really was doing that thing that I told you guys earlier, that I was like, I heard so much about it, and I was like, I'm not going to read this, just specifically because I've heard so much about it. Everyone's talking about it that I'm annoyed with it already. It's like over publicized. You see it so much that you're already annoyed of it. And I wasn't going to read it, but I was trying to find a new book to read off of my library website, and it popped up that they had it on my library website. So I thought, you know what, for free, I'm just going to give it a shot and see. And I was so happy I did, especially the audiobook version of it, you guys. It was absolutely amazing. It was a full cast of characters, and it was just, it was me falling in love with Taylor Jenkins Reid. She is one of my favorite authors now. I will pick up anything that she writes, and it all started with this book. A gripping novel about the whirlwind rise of an iconic 1970s rock group and their beautiful lead singer, revealing the mystery behind their infamous breakup. And I will say, this is not typically a book that I would choose to pick up on my own. I was only interested in this book because of the hype. At first, I was not interested in it because of the hype, and then I was interested in it because of the hype. A gripping novel about the whirlwind rise of an iconic 1970s rock group and their beautiful lead singer, revealing the mystery behind their infamous breakup. Everyone knows Daisy Jones and the Six, but nobody knows the real reason why they split at the absolute height of their popularity. Until now. Daisy is a girl coming of age in LA in the late 60s, sneaking into clubs on the Sunset Strip, sleeping with rock stars, and dreaming of singing at the Whiskey A Go-Go. The sex and drugs are thrilling, but it's the rock and roll she loves the most. By the time she's 20, her voice is getting noticed, and she has the kind of heedless beauty that makes people do crazy things. Another band is getting noticed is the Six, led by the brooding Billy Dunn. On the eve of their first tour, his girlfriend Camilla finds out she's pregnant, and with the pressure of impending fatherhood and fame, Billy goes a little wild on the road. Daisy and Billy cross paths when a producer realizes the key to supercharged success is to put the two together. What happens next will become the stuff of legend. So it's this amazing rock band that has broken up at the height of their popularity, and they are finally giving an interview talking about what happened to break up the band. And like I said, if you guys have watched my videos, you know that this is not typically something that I would read, but I loved this. And I don't know if it was just because I listened to it on audiobook. I have since then listened to all of Taylor Jenkins Reid books on audiobook. Not sure if that's why, because the audiobook was so well done. I don't know if I would have liked it as much physically reading it. But this one has such a soft spot in my heart, specifically because it did introduce me to Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I absolutely love all of her work. And that being said, we're going to piggyback right off of that. And the next book on the list is another Taylor Jenkins Reid novel, and that is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Now, this is one that I would have picked up because I'm positive that this character is modeled after Marilyn Monroe, and I have always loved Marilyn Monroe. So I've always been very interested in anything to do with her, and I, especially like as a teenager, loved her. So this one is something that I probably would have picked up, but I definitely was more interested in it because I like Daisy Jones and the Six so much. But when this one started getting hyped up, I was into it right off the bat. Aging and reclusive Hollywood movie icon Evelyn Hugo is finally ready to tell the truth about her glamorous and scandalous life. But when she chooses an unknown magazine reporter, Monique Grant, for the job, no one is more astounded than Monique herself. Why her? Why now? Monique is not exactly on top of the world. Her husband has left her and her professional life is going nowhere. Regardless of why Evelyn has selected her to write her biography, Monique is determined to use this opportunity to jumpstart her career. Summoned to Evelyn's luxurious apartment, Monique listens in fascination as the actress tells her story. From making her way to Los Angeles in the 1950s, to her decision to leave showbiz in the 80s, and of course, the 7 husbands along the way. Evelyn unspools a tale of ruthless ambition, unexpected friendship, and a great forbidden love. Monique begins to feel a very real connection to the legendary star, but as Evelyn's story nears its conclusion, it becomes clear that her life intersects with Monique's own in tragic and irreversible ways. This one just, I loved this one so much. I mean, I'm saying that about all of them because I really did love them all, but this one definitely also, once again, worth the hype. All right, and the last book that we are going to talk about today is one that I have talked about on here before, and that was my #1 pick for my best books of 2021, which is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. And this one has been really, really popular the past year, with good reason, and it is absolutely, this is one of those books that really makes you think about your life and the decisions that you make and how every single decision has consequences. Between life and death, there is a library, and within that library, the shelves go on forever. Every book provides a chance to try another life you could have lived, to see how things would be if you had made another choice. Would you have done anything different if you had the chance to undo your regrets? Somewhere out beyond the edge of the universe, there is a library that contains an infinite number of books, each one the story of another reality. One tells the story of your life as it is, along with another book from the other life you could have lived if you had made a different choice at any point in your life. While we all wonder how our lives might have been, what if you had the chance to go to the library and see for yourself? Would any of these other lives truly be better? So basically, this book follows our protagonist, who is absolutely at the end of her rope, and she decides that she is done with life. And at that moment, she passes into almost like a suspended state or like a purgatory of some sort. And it's this huge library with an infinite amount of books, and each book is a different decision that she could have made. So from the simplest decision to go to this restaurant instead of this restaurant, there's offshooting realities for both. And she gets to pick any book from any regret that she's ever had in her life and jump into that life for a while and try it on. And basically, she gets to live in that life until she becomes unhappy with it. And then she'll be pulled back out and she gets to try a new one. So first of all, what an amazing idea for a book. And second of all, just her trying on these different lives just makes you really, really think about your own life and how different decisions might have played out. And that just, to me, I just find that to be such an interesting concept of thinking and like just wondering how things would have been if you had made any different decisions. I don't know. I just find it so interesting, and this was my favorite book that I read last year, so that tells you how much I loved it. Anyways, you guys, those are the 5 books that I think were absolutely worth the hype and the attention that they got. And if you have not read them yet, I highly recommend that you do. I gave each of them a 5 out of 5. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree or disagree with any of my picks. I hope you guys are having an awesome day. Make sure and hit the subscribe button on your way out if you have not done yet. I would really appreciate it. I'm on my way to 500 subscribers, and I'd really appreciate the support if you did like today's video. Anyways, I hope you guys are having an awesome day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!